It's the best, hands down.
It's crystal clear.
I love it. The things you can make are awesome.
No one else has quality epoxy like this.
It's easy to mix.
Tim is such a wealth of knowledge.
It's gotta be iCoat.
Welcome to the Resin Mastery Podcast, exploring iCoat epoxy. So welcome back to Resin Mastery. It has been a long summer, and Rachel and I have got a lot of news for you in different areas. But it is great to be back, and it's great to be back here at the end of August, going into what is known in the wedding flower preservation world as the Super Bowl. Rachel, how are you doing?
Doing good, Ian. Just coming back from the summer, kind of settling in for, school year is starting. Not that I'm going to school, but just, life around in the community is changing, and definitely keeping in mind that coming up is a very big season. It's the start of it now, but it's a quick ascent into that area of being wedding season. So today's episode is really about seasonality. So when flowers, wedding, memories become business opportunities, which is what we're going to dive into.
Yeah. So when you look at the wedding flower preservation world, it is growing. Undoubtedly, we're hearing it from our artists. It is growing. And we've also heard from artists that have struggled in this area. And generally, it comes down to the type of resin they're using. If you use the right resin, you get the right results. You use the wrong resin, you get the wrong results. And yes, we're biased here at Resin Mastery towards iCoat epoxy, but we're biased for a reason. And that is because we have so many artists who do so well doing flower preservation for weddings, funerals, memorials, celebrations. It's just amazing, Rachel. And let's kick in. I know you pulled some stats for this. And for everyone out there, go to ChatGPT, go to Anthropic, go to one of your favorite AI agents and ask it about this data that we're going to give you, and you'll see that we're not making this up. This is real. So Rachel, why don't you fire out some statistics?
Yeah, so the current 2026 data actually says that fall is currently the most popular wedding season in the US, meaning that about 35% of couples marry from September through November, compared to 33% for June through August, which doesn't seem like a lot, just that 2% difference, right? However, when push comes to shove, that 2% is thousands of couples getting married.
Yeah, Rachel, if you remember, I think we said that it's about 2.8 million weddings a year happen.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And that is so many, which I love to hear because I love to hear about people getting married. But that means there's about 2.8 million opportunities for y'all to have some preservation business, which, I mean, when you think about that market to tap into, I mean, if you've been thinking about doing it, if you want to, if you've been in it for a while, but you don't necessarily focus on wedding specifically, that's definitely something to look into, because the broader peak wedding season runs May through October, right?
Yeah.
Just because May is so nice in other states, October is when it starts to really get like a little bit cooler. So in certain states, it's like already getting a little too cold, too rainy. Here in Arizona, it's a little different. That's when it really starts
it is beautiful in October. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's gorgeous. I mean, that's when I had my wedding and it was awesome. But that accounts for 76% of weddings. So
yeah, and when you're talking about it, and when you look at those numbers, for everyone out there, I think we did some research, and the last information that we talked about, you had a situation where it was about between 5 and 10% of people who get married get preservations done, and the numbers growing. So even if you're in a busy industry right now doing this, it's only going to get busier as more and more people want to get their preservations done. So it's really exciting, the opportunity out there. But you know what? opportunity belongs to the brave, and it belongs to those who grasp it. It isn't something that automatically falls in your lap. You've got to have a good website. You've got to have a good presence. You've got to be doing things locally. And I think they're all the sort of things that give you the opportunity to make a great living doing this. And as we hear from all of our artists, Rachel, they love doing it. They don't look at it as a job and as a chore. They just love making people's memories. And I think that's really exciting. So, let's talk about what this means for flower preservation artists. And, we've just talked about the numbers, how it's just a growing market. It's not just growing locally, it's growing globally as well. A lot of times America sets precedents and sets trends, and then other countries follow. And we're hearing more and more all the time about people who are from overseas who want to use iCode epoxy in their own preservations, and they want to start their businesses overseas. So we're seeing the data that's coming in, and it's changing the game out there. So, Rachel, I have a question for you, which is, what should these resin artists do now?
That's a really good question, because I think there's just so much up in the air when it comes to where am I going to take my business next. But really zeroing in on certain things is going to make sure that you have the growth where you need it, right? So I think ultimately assessing your business, make a list, break it down. What is the capacity that I have to do anything, right? What is the maximum number of things I could do? Like, for instance, you have to think like wedding clients per week, right? It's a short season, ultimately, like I would say 3 months. So if you think about that, that's 12 weeks. Now, if you're doing one, if that number is just one, then that's 12 clients, right? And that's not bad.
Right, because the last thing you want to do is actually promise something you can't deliver.
Yes. Yeah. And that's a huge deal too, because I have seen in some of my research that there are people who overpromise, and basically due to that, like it could be, it's good to have, okay, these are the points at which I reach out to people with updates as well, setting your customers up for success when it comes to a relationship with you, so that they're not like left in the dust, because that's something I've actually seen, unfortunately, a lot of, is just like, yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't get back to you. And that's like understandable. But when it's like months and months and there's no communication on something that you've put a really heavy deposit on, as a bride, it kind of leaves a lot to be desired. So I think communication, number one. But when you're thinking clients per week, like if you can comfortably complete 3 large preservation pieces a week plus 5 smaller ones, then if you think about that over that 12-week period, that's a good amount. That's 36 large preservation pieces. And gosh, I don't even want to, I think.
And 60 small ones as well. Yeah.
Yeah, 60 small ones. I'm like, I'm not going to. But yeah, so that's a lot of business to be bringing into, and a lot of hearts to warm with your company, and just move in the right direction. And also you have to think, with those customers comes more customers, possibly through referrals. So also giving a like, hey, if you want to come back for any reason, or if you bring me a referral, that person will get 10% off, 5% off, whatever. That's really
Rachel,
cool.
I think here's a great time as well to think about what these people are making as well, because I think a lot of people think of this as it's just a one block. They just do the main flower preservation from the bride's bouquet and move along. But what we're seeing and what we're hearing from our artists is that the industry is expanding. They're doing really ring holders. They're doing posters. They're doing mini hearts. They're taking the flowers from the wedding, the color schemes from the wedding, and they're creating so much more out of it as well. So they're doing bookends. They're doing display pieces. This is an ever expanding area of customization. But the great thing is, instead of it being a $700 or $1,200 job for the one piece. Now all of a sudden you're tacking on all these extra things, and maybe the bill's $2,000 now.
Yeah.
And that's what gets exciting about it.
Mm-hmm. And when you think about it too, in the broader view of wedding expenses, that's actually very minimal cost. I mean, flowers themselves usually cost, depending, anywhere from $5,000 to $20,000, depending on who you are and what your budget is. That wasn't mine, but I know people who their budget is $10,000 on flowers, and they have these grandiose things. So when you think about it, that's a great opportunity to preserve some really beautiful flowers, and at a good price for you, and at a reasonable price for the person paying for it.
So let's think this as well. Some smaller weddings may not have a bigger budget, but they still want memories. So there are opportunities for smaller preservations as well. And like we've said before, the beautiful thing about these preservations is you keep it out. It's seen, the couple, it's a memory of the day they got married, of the happiness they had on that day. And I think that's really great to actually have. But like I said, we're starting to see other things. So let's think about beyond just the bride's bouquet. Let's talk about some of the other flower uses that people are now actually getting preserved.
Yeah, that's great. That kind of leads into my next point, is like, make a menu for yourself so that you have that on your website.
Great point.
One of the coolest things that I actually saw when kind of looking up something new is the boutonniere and corsage set, right. like a 2-piece set for like people who have gone to like events. But most notably, I think when I think corsage, I think of prom, and that was just like,
that's
oh my
another
goodness.
point right there. You great point. That this could go from being a wedding push to being around prom nights.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. I never even thought about that but for the people who go to like cotillion or prom, and you just have like, you go to a few dances in your life, and each time you get a little trinket, right? Like a little tiny piece or something for your desk so that you can remember that moment forever. Cause it's such a sweet moment, when you're in that adolescent phase. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. So basically the menu, you could have like, for example, like keepsakes, like a small floral block, ring holder, small coaster, mini heart, for like more like signature look, that's slightly bigger. It would be like the bouquet block, that you classically think of, large coaster set, bookends, display pieces. And then for the heirloom, the kind of centerpiece, and like bigger deal pieces are like the large bouquet preservation, multiple coordinated pieces. So like a full set that could go on a bookshelf or like a, what do you call that? A mantle. And then just like more customizable things that we've talked about in the past, like tables, like small end tables or big trays, charcuterie boards, things like that. So it's important for people to know what you have available, because people will not think of that on their own.
Right.
And if they do, I'd say 1 in 10 people would probably come to you with something a little bit more unique and say, hey, can you do this for me? I've thought about it. And like, I really want this. But most people would be like, oh, this is what I've seen, so this is what I want,
Yeah. And look, I even think parents' flowers, parents pay all this money for them. What a great gift to say thank you for all the time, energy, and money that a parent has put into it, right?
Yeah.
That giving something not just for the couple, but for the parents to, because we're in an era where, a lot of people just have maybe 1 or 2 children. So something as a memory for the children, now they're getting married. I think that's a great follow-up to have that as well. So look, it's wedding season, everyone. It's time to get busy. You can give us a call. Any questions you've got, if you're just getting started at this, we can give you some tips on getting started. And, we have a lot of documentation that shows you how to do it right, how to get great preservation, how to get bubble-free, crystal clear preservations done, how to dry your flowers. We have all that. And we've even got coming on the website soon a starter kit as well. So if you just want to get started doing this, you're going to have a couple of options for very cheap price to actually come in, get started, see if you can do it. And maybe it becomes something that becomes, your side hustle and something you love doing. So, Rachel, it's exciting. It's that time of year. It's wedding season. Any last words for our audience?
If you guys have your clientele in mind and you have your own wants and goals in mind, if you come up with a clear picture of what that looks like, I think that's the best way to set you guys up for success going into this season and then on to the next season, which would be holidays. So just keep those things in mind and don't be scared to kind of step out of your comfort zone. I think that would be an awesome time to start is when it's in a big season. So really that's all. And I really look forward to seeing you guys in our next podcast.
So until next time on the Resin Mastery Podcast, we'll see you again.